When a shark tore an 8-year-old's arm off in 2001, his uncle wrestled it to shore and surgeons reattached the limb. But what really happened to Jessie Arbogast proves heroism can't always heal everything. July 6, 2001. Gulf Islands National Seashore, Pensacola, Florida. It was the kind of perfect summer evening families dream about. Jessie Arbogast, 8 years old, was playing in knee-deep water as the sun set over the Gulf. His family was nearby, parents, uncle, cousins, enjoying the beach just like hundreds of other families that day. Then the water exploded. A 7-foot bull shark lunged from nowhere. It clamped onto Jessie's arm and began thrashing the way sharks do when they've seized prey. In seconds, it had torn his right arm completely off, from shoulder to elbow, just gone. Its jaws ripped a massive chunk from his thigh. The water turned red. Jessie screamed. His uncle, Vance Flosenzier, was standing nearby. He didn't hesitate. He didn't freeze. He didn't wait for help. He ran into the surf and grabbed the shark by its tail. Think about that for a second. A 7-foot bull shark, one of the most aggressive shark species on Earth, known for attacks in shallow water, thrashing with a child's arm in its mouth. And Vance grabbed it. Bull sharks don't let go. They don't retreat. They're built for violence, with the strongest bite force of any shark relative to their size. This wasn't a reef shark or a nurse shark. This was an apex predator. Vance wrestled it, physically dragged it towards shore while it fought him. Other beachgoers ran to help pull Jessie from the water. A park ranger arrived and shot the shark to stop it from attacking anyone else. But here's where the story gets even more remarkable and more complicated. Jared Klein, a volunteer firefighter who happened to be on the beach, did something almost nobody would think to do in that moment of chaos. He pried open the dead shark's jaws and retrieved Jessie's severed arm. Someone found ice. They packed the arm carefully. Paramedics arrived within minutes. Jessie had lost massive amounts of blood. His heart had stopped on the beach. EMTs performed CPR, got him stabilized enough for transport. At Baptist Hospital in Pensacola, a trauma team was waiting. They'd been alerted about the incoming case. Child, shark attack, severed arm, possible reattachment. Surgeons worked for 11 hours. 11 hours of microsurgery, reconnecting blood vessels thinner than thread, reattaching nerves, reconstructing what the shark had destroyed. The surgery itself was successful. They reattached the arm. News outlets called it a miracle. Headlines celebrated the uncle who fought a shark. Stories focused on the incredible surgical team. Everyone wanted the happy ending. But that's not what happened. Jessie had been without adequate blood flow for too long. His brain had been deprived of oxygen during those critical minutes on the beach and in transport. By the time surgeons finished reattaching his arm, the real damage was already done. Jessie fell into a coma. He stayed in a coma for weeks. When he finally woke, his family faced a devastating reality. Jessie had suffered severe, permanent brain damage. The boy who loved playing in the water, who was starting 3rd grade, who had his whole childhood ahead, that boy was gone. The Jessie who survived was profoundly disabled. He required round-the-clock care. The reattached arm had limited function. His cognitive abilities were severely impaired. He's alive, but the cost of survival was nearly everything that made him who he was. This isn't the story we want to hear. We want the version where the hero uncle saves the day and the kid goes back to 3rd grade and everything's fine. But real life doesn't work like that. Sometimes you can do everything right. The uncle's split-second courage, the firefighter's quick thinking, the paramedic's skill, the surgeon's expertise, and still lose most of what you were trying to save. Vance Flosenzier is absolutely a hero. He wrestled a bull shark with his bare hands and probably saved his nephew's life. Without his action, Jessie would have bled out on that beach in minutes. Jared Klein's instinct to retrieve the arm gave surgeons even a chance at reattachment. Most people would never think to do that in the chaos. The medical team performed surgery that was technically brilliant. They did their jobs perfectly. And still, it wasn't enough to give Jessie back his life. That's the hard truth about heroism. It saves what it can, but it can't always save everything. The Arbogast family has spent more than 2 decades caring for Jessie. The medical bills were astronomical. The emotional toll immeasurable. They've had to grieve for the child they had while caring for the child they have. In media coverage after the attack, there was discussion about the shark's behavior. Bull sharks are unusual. They can tolerate fresh water, They hunt in shallow areas where people swim. They're territorial and aggressive. This particular shark appeared unusually thin, possibly driven by hunger to hunt closer to shore than normal. But none of that mattered to Jesse or his family. The shark's motivation doesn't change what happened. There were also debates about beach safety, shark populations, whether warning systems could have prevented the attack. All important discussions, all irrelevant to the Arbogast's daily reality. What matters is this. On July 6, 2001, a perfect summer evening became every parent's nightmare. And despite extraordinary courage from multiple people, despite everything going as right as it possibly could have gone wrong, the ocean took Jessie Arbogast's childhood and never gave it back. We tell hero stories because we want to believe courage conquers tragedy. Sometimes it does, but sometimes, even with the bravest uncle, the smartest paramedics, the most skilled surgeons, sometimes all the heroism in the world can only save a life, not a future. Jessie Arbogast is alive today because of extraordinary people who refuse to give up. That matters. That's real heroism. But he's also a reminder that not all survivals are victories. That sometimes the cost of living is everything you were before the water turned red. Vance Flosenzier wrestled a shark and won, but the shark still took almost everything. And that's the story nobody wants to hear, but the one Jesse's family lives every single day.